So here's our third example using proportions. And this is the is over of equal percent over 100 technique. I start by writing line equal line over 100. For this problem it says 23 is what percent of 217? So I have to decide where to place these numbers. 23 is, that's got to be an is number, so I'll put it up top. What percent? For this type question, they're asking me to find the percent, so I'm going to call this my variable. I'll use P for percent. Of 217, well clearly that's going to be an of number, so I put 217 there. And then I want to solve this. So I multiply by the common denominator. 100, 217. As I distribute to the first fraction, I see that the 217s will drop out, and so I'll be left with 23 times 100. For the second fraction, the 100s would drop out, and so I'd be left with 217p. To solve this, I'll divide by 217. And as I've said a number of times already, I'm going to let the calculator do all this. I'll let it do all the work in one shot. I pull up the calculator here again. I'm going to say 23 times 100 divided by 217. Now my answer says 10.599. If I want an exact answer, I'll turn that into a fraction. I'll go second, F to D, and it says 10 and 130 over 217. I told you before we're going to get strange answers, you need to get used to it. Notice that I left a little space here. I did that for a reason. When you're solving for a percent problem, when it says what percent, that's not 10 and 130 over 217, but rather it's 10 and 130 over 217 percent. You have to put that percent there because that's a change of 2 decimal places. If I were to write this as a decimal, I have to move that decimal 2 places over. So this says 10.599. In the real world, if I was trying to write this as a percent, it's actually 0.10599, so on and so forth. So you have to understand this percent symbol means the decimal would be moved over 2 decimal places. Let's look at the same problem and how it would be done using the inline approach. It says 23 is, so I'm going to start here and write 23 equals what percent, well that's a variable, of 217. So I would say P times 217. And this will further illustrate what I was talking about a second ago. To solve this, you're going to divide both sides by 217. As I divide by 217, I divide by 217, I get this P equaling. Now when I put this in the calculator, I go 23 divided by 217. It gives me that 0.10599. So as a decimal, this has already been moved over the 2 places. That is a percent that we're looking at. Where when you use the proportion method, it's not going to give you the percent. You have to know that it's a percent because that's where you were putting your variable originally, right there. See, which represented the percent. There's your third example.